Yeah, well, welcome back. We're here again with Dave Gervino, the DuPage Office of Emergency Management, talking about November's winter storms. Now, October was okay around here, and sometimes we will get snow in October. I'm sure we have, but so far nothing. But now November is the time to worry about.
Is this to prepare? Because we don't always get snow in November. It's kind of I would say unusual, like Thanksgiving. We have had snow on Thanksgiving, but not all the time.
It's mixed.
Sure, and you know, each month we have a different theme. So in October, of course, it was pet preparedness, and for November we're talking about...
But this is to prepare, right?
Exactly, winter weather preparedness, because it's getting cold, snow's going to start falling, so we want to make sure people are ready.
Tune up your snow blower and...
That's right.
Well, I guess you obviously have to do that, but maybe this is the time when you start looking for one, maybe go buy one, because if you get a bad storm, they're sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and if you think back to the February blizzard of last year and all of the things that just came to a screeching halt, schools were closed, residential areas were tough to get out of because they weren't able to be plowed quickly. Plows couldn't keep up with the amount of snow falling, so people are stranded in their homes for days. So that's a good reminder, I think, of why we need to be prepared to make sure we have enough food and water and supplies to last for at least 3 days in case you get snowed in.
Well, you know, you mentioned the snow plows. People have to understand when it's snowing like that, they can't plow your street first. Because some people get angry, boy, it takes them so long to clean our streets. Well, they're doing all the streets. And I think people, if they'd understand that, maybe they wouldn't get their dander up, you know, about it.
It's a natural reaction, I'm sure. Now, as far as shoveling snow, and a lot of people get hurt doing that in regards to heart attacks, overexhaustion.
Even hurting them, you know, their backs or something.
What can you do to prevent some of those things?
Yeah, make sure that you take precautions before shoveling snow. Actually, referring back to that February blizzard of last year, the handful of deaths that we did have in DuPage County that were snow-related were all from people shoveling snow who had heart attacks. So definitely, if someone's not in good shape, maybe they should have someone else shovel the snow, or just do a little bit at a time, kind of pace themselves. Make sure that your neighbors that you're checking on each other, and just don't overexert yourself. It's easy when it's cold out to overexert yourself because you don't get hot. Exactly. Yeah. But you really need to take precautions.
But it's hard to breathe with that cold air sometimes, especially when they are exerting themselves. And sometimes the snow is a different consistency. When it's a dry snow, it's lighter, but if it's a wet snow, it's like lead. I mean, it's very heavy, so they might even be taking up too much at once, you know, trying to move fast, and they're overexerting themselves.
That's right. People really need to take precautions and not overexert themselves when they're shoveling snow.
Or just take a little bit at a time, you know, especially if it's that wet snow.
Or get your kids out there to help out.
Well, yeah,
we don't see too much of that anymore.
That's right. The community should come together and help each other.
Kids
Absolutely.
could make money. Go knock on, you know, some kids have done that in our neighborhood, and ring the bell and say, you know, I'll do your driveway for you for so much.
Or they could.
Just don't ask for $1 million because they'll say no to you.
They could always just do it to be nice and do the right thing.
Yeah,
right?
to be neighborly. That's
As far as your emergency kit, what should you have in it? Now, should it change from what we had before?
Yeah, well, we definitely want to add a blanket in. You know, especially you want to have an emergency kit not only at your home in case you get snowed in there, but also in your vehicle. Obviously, during winter weather, when there's storms, visibility is reduced, and if at all possible, you shouldn't be traveling outside to begin with. But if you have to travel, you want to make sure that you call someone, let them know where you're going, when you're leaving, the route that you're taking, and then make sure that you have materials in your car in case you do get stuck. So make sure you have a blanket so that you can keep warm. Make sure that you have water. Obviously, that's not just left in your car because you don't want it to be frozen. Maybe some granola bars, some food, things of that nature, flashlights, extra batteries. The same types of things you'd have in your kit at home, you should also keep in your car.
Can you tell us the process that the Village of Addison would go through to get help from FEMA? How does that work? You know, do you have to have a special kind of catastrophe happen, or can you try to work to prevent it from happening? How does that work out?
Sure. With snow emergencies in particular, there are some different rules. So like with the February blizzard of last year, basically there's two main types of FEMA assistance. One is public assistance that provides assistance to public entities. So it would reimburse Addison, for example, for money that they spent for police overtime and public works overtime and that type of thing, uninsured damage to facilities. So public assistance, that's one. The other type of assistance is individual assistance, which assists individual homeowners. It provides them with funding for uninsured losses they may have experienced due to damage in their homes and things of that nature. So in order to qualify for that, you need to be able to prove that an extraordinary event happened. The public assistance to government, for example, you need to show expenses in a 48-hour period for DuPage County overall in excess of $3.2 million. So it takes quite a bit to get there, but we made it with last year's blizzard in February. We exceeded the $3.2 million expenditure in expenses for DuPage County government agencies.
Do we get reimbursed that amount of money then?
We sure do. We get 75% reimbursement from the federal government. So, you know, with budgets being as tight as they are right now and the economy being as it is, that was a big help to Addison and to all the entities in DuPage County that received that.
Well, who says let's look at it? The mayor, the governor? Where does that come from?
So what we do is we activate our emergency operations center at the county level, and we ask for damage reports from the field, normally from police, from fire, from public works. And as we begin to get those in and begin to see that, wow, this is really a big incident, there's going to be a lot of expenses, there's going to be a lot of cleanup after the fact, we then reach out and ask municipalities to estimate what they expect their expenses to be. And then if we come anywhere even close to hitting that $3.2 million threshold that we're required to hit by federal law, then we compile the information, submit it to the state, and then it's up to the governor to petition the president that we have a federal presidentially declared disaster.
How long does that whole process take when there's a disaster happening?
Well, the request from the governor has to come within 30 days of the disaster, but normally we move a lot quicker than that. Normally within about a week or so we compile all the statistics, all the numbers, and submit it to the state and ask the governor to make that request.
So this winter, what should we be looking out for, Dave?
Well, sure. We definitely want to look at road conditions. So when it's icy, when it's snowy, again, if you don't have to travel, then don't. But if you are going to travel, make sure that you have things in your car. In addition to the items we've already mentioned, have something like a scrap of carpet and maybe some kitty litter or something, so you can get traction if you get stuck. Have a small shovel so you can dig yourself out. Also, if you get stuck or a little bit snowed in, maybe when you're parked for the day, and have a cell phone charger. Make sure that you keep your batteries charged, and make sure you keep in touch with your family members, your friends, your relatives. Make sure everyone's doing okay, and just really work together to keep each other safe.
Well, with technology today, we do have an advantage, like you said, with the cell phone, because at least you could find somebody, you know, just by calling.
And just let people know what you're doing, where you're going, so if you don't show up or you didn't arrive, they know it.
Look for you, and where you're at, because maybe they could somehow find you and help you too.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Dave, and some tips for November. We'll be right back.